Hello, my name is Jennifer Wilson and I'm with the Gulfport School District, and today we're going to talk about standard RI.4.5 text structure. Let's get started. All right, first thing, what is text structure? In your informational text, authors are going to use different types of text structure to organize their ideas and details they want their readers to understand about a topic. There are 5 different types of text structure. You're going to see sequence or chronological order. You're going to see problem and solution, cause and effect, description, and compare and contrast. So let's look at some examples of these different types of text structures. So the first one we have is sequence or chronological order. So what I like my students to do is look at different clue words to see what type of text structure it is. So this one we have a text, and we're going to look and see and find those clues to let us know that it is sequence or chronological order and not anything else. Iceberg right ahead. During the Titanic's maiden voyage, its first across the Atlantic, Captain Smith received warnings about dangerous icebergs. On April 14, 1912, at 9:20 p.m., Captain Smith went to bed. The last iceberg warning came in around 9:40, and he never received it. At 11:40 p.m., lookouts spotted an iceberg, and 37 seconds later, the ship scraped the bottom of the berg. By 12:45 a.m., lifeboats began lowering into the freezing water. At 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, the Titanic sank to the bottom of the ocean. Survivors in lifeboats were not rescued until 4:10 a.m. On April 18, 1912, the 705 survivors from the Titanic docked in New York. All right, so what we saw quite a bit of is words that talked about seconds, we saw minutes, we saw dates, and we saw time. So that is how we know that it's following a particular sequence or that chronological order, and it's nothing else. So when you look for, you're looking for things like first, next, then, last, and finally, or you're looking at things like dates and time or even years. All right, so let's look at our next example. Okay, we have problem and solution. Our story is keeping clean. When flu season begins in the fall, staying healthy can become a challenge. Missing out on work and play is never on anyone's to-do list, so avoid the flu by following a few simple steps. Some people get the flu vaccine to prevent illness. Steer clear of the bug by washing your hands with warm water and soap several times a day. The less you touch your nose, mouth, and eyes, the less likely you are to come down with the flu. All right, so with this particular text, we see that there's a problem. It's how to keep yourself from getting the flu. And it gives some examples of what you can do to solve that problem. So in there, we have examples or some steps that we can follow. You can get the flu vaccine. You can wash your hands with warm water and soap, or you can just make sure you keep your hands away from your nose and your mouth and eyes. So we have that list. So that is how we know that this is problem and solution. Okay, so let's look at our next example. We have cause and effect. Okay, with that, we're looking for what's going on and why it's happening. Okay, so poor eating has a cost. Do you think that eating junk food doesn't matter? Think again. When you choose junk food, your body isn't getting the proper nutrition it needs to stay healthy, so you end up craving more junk food. Not only will you have trouble concentrating, but you will get tired more easily, and you won't have the energy to get the exercise your body needs. Junk food is often full of unhealthy fat, which can cause you to gain too much weight and become obese. And obesity can lead to serious diseases as you get older. All right, so for this particular text, we see what is happening and the why. So what is happening is eating junk food, and then the why, what happens after you eat it. It can cause you to become obese, or you see other things where it causes you to be tired. You can gain too much weight, or you just don't have a lot of energy. So this would be cause and effect. Okay, so let's look at our next one. We have description. And with this, in description, the author is going to use a lot of adjectives or describing words. Okay, so inside the flames. Although many wildfires occur in wild areas such as forests and hills, they are called wildfires because they are uncontrolled and can destroy everything in their path. Depending on how large a wildfire is, it can even change a location's weather. On average, 1.2 million acres burn every year because of wildfires. Okay, so with this particular text, we see the way that they're describing wildfires, what can happen, and what it looks like. So this would be description. Okay, and we have one more to look at. Okay, we have compare and contrast. Okay, how things are like or how they're different. Okay, so we have Disney World and Disneyland. So already looking at this, I can see two different places. So we're probably going to do both comparing and contrasting, or how they're alike and how they're different. Even though both Disney World and Disneyland were built by Walt Disney himself, they are not the same theme park. Built in 1971 in Orlando, Florida, the main park at Disney World, the Magic Kingdom, features a huge Cinderella castle. Disneyland, on the other hand, was built in 1955 in California and features Sleeping Beauty's castle. While Disney World has 4 different theme parks, Disneyland only has 2. Even with their differences, they are both popular tourist destinations for children and adults. Okay, so with this particular text, we see how the 2 parks are alike and also how they are different. So you can look for clues like both, alike, different, or similar. Okay, so let's practice some more looking at text structure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some various texts and we're going to figure out what is the text structure out of the 5. Okay, tornadoes form when wind speeds at 2 different altitudes or heights are different, causing a horizontal rotating column of air. A funnel cloud is created when the column of air gets caught in a large thunderstorm called a supercell. When it meets the supercell, the rotating column speeds up and the rain and hail and thunderstorms cause the funnel to touch down. Okay, so looking at that, I want you to think for a minute and look for some clue words of what the text structure might be in this particular passage. All right, so let's go and let's see to figure it out. All right, so we have some words that are highlighted. We have causing and cause. So this particular passage would be cause and effect because we have those clue words letting us know what's happening and why it's happening. And we're talking about tornadoes. Okay, so let's go to another passage. All right. People who live in cold climates know that there are several different winter sport choices. If you enjoy flying down hills at breakneck speeds, you'll need to choose between snowboarding and skiing. Both are winter sports where you move along snow with boards attached to your feet. While skiing, you'll have a ski attached to each foot and a pole for each hand. Snowboarding, on the other hand, uses only one board, which both feet are attached to. Skis and snowboards both require boots to buckle into. While you need a sloped hill to snowboard down, with skis you can cross-country ski on a snowy flat land. Your body's position will also be different depending on the sport you choose. Snowboarders ride downhill sideways, and skiers move straight ahead. Either sport is a thrilling winter activity. Okay, so take a moment and just look and see what you think the text structure is in this particular passage. All right, so let's look at those clue words to decide what it would be. Okay, so we have different, choose between, on the other hand, and either. So we are comparing and contrasting. We're talking about two different types of winter sports, snowboarding and skiing, and we are comparing how they are alike and how they are different. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Preparing for an exotic pet is unique. First, you must do research to find an exotic pet good for your home environment. Then you must find someone who breeds and sells the pet you are interested in. Before you buy your pet, you will need to gather the supplies you need, and many will be ordered online since regular pet stores don't carry exotic materials. Finally, before you bring your pet home, find a good supply of the unique food your new pet will require. Okay, so take a moment and look and see what type of text structure you think this might be. Okay, so look at the clue words and let's see if you are correct. Okay, so we have sequence. We saw those words like first, then, before, and finally. So it is giving us details in order or in that sequence order. Okay, so let's keep going with our next example. Okay, the human body is an amazing machine. It is made up of 7 octillion atoms. That is 27 zeros. And our heart pumps enough blood to fill 3 swimming pools over a lifetime. Humans use 200 muscles when we take a step, and our eye muscles move about 100,000 times per day, the same number of times the human heart beats every day. The tongue is the strongest muscle in the human body, and the skin is the largest organ. When humans are born, they have 300 bones in their body, but as bodies grow, they fuse together to make our 206 adult bones. Okay, so take a moment and figure out what the text structure might be. Okay, so let's see. All right, so this is description. We're describing the different parts of the human body. And I just pulled a couple of keywords because there's quite a bit in this particular passage. We have the 200 muscles that our body has. Our eye muscles move about 100,000 times per day. Also, it talks about the different bones that we have in our body, as we're children and then when we are adults. So this is giving us a description about our body. Okay, so there's one more to look at, and let's see what it is. Have you ever gathered around a table with your friends excited to play a board game, and when you open the box, find that pieces are missing? It's always a bummer when you don't have a piece to mark your place in the game, but you can get inventive to solve the problem. Go to your kitchen and try using beans, gummy bears, or Skittles to replace the missing pieces. Or try using bingo chips, marker tops, or paper clips in their place. Don't let a missing piece stop you from playing games. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to figure out what is the text structure of this passage. Okay, so let's look at some keywords. We saw a lot. Okay, so what I have highlighted is at the beginning, we're given a problem. Have you ever been excited and then you find that the pieces of a game are missing? Okay, then it goes into listing how you can solve the problem. Okay, so it gives us, we can use beans, gummy bears, or Skittles, are different pieces that we have laying around the house. So this one would be problem and solution, because we have a problem and we have examples of how to solve that particular problem. All right, so with this, we're looking at just different types of text structure. We're looking at those keywords to decide if it is in the 5 different groups. So if you can remember those particular words, that will help you figure out what the text structure is, and you'll be successful in finding it correctly on an assignment.